Hello. Welcome to These Days. I'm your girl Ashley, and today I am here with a close friend of mine, Jerica King, the Bath Queen.
Hey everybody.
Some of us may know her as our local massage therapist who has like the hands of a goddess. But outside of that, Jerica had become a great friend of mine. And with getting to know her, her energy is everything. And today we're going to focus on something that I feel is very important, which is a woman's self esteem.
For sure. Thank you for that, Ashley.
Yeah, no, thank you for coming. I appreciate
I'm happy
it.
to be here. I'm excited.
Well, on the topic of self esteem, like what do you think would be defined as like a healthy self esteem?
I think healthy self-esteem will exude a level of relaxation.
Mhm.
So when you present yourself to others, you're always relaxed because you don't have so much self-doubt.
Right.
And I think people who claim their own worthiness, they don't worry too much about anything when it comes down to themselves and their appearance and the way they carry themselves because they're secure in that.
And with being secure and just not having that doubt or not worrying about it, like how do you feel like that's developed? Because as we know, as women, we're our biggest critics. So the
Definitely.
first thing that we do is go to market everything that's wrong instead of everything that's right. So how can we change that and reframe that?
I think it's not the easiest thing because one of the first things that we're taught to do is to judge something.
Right.
Like when we grow up, we have to have milestones. When you're a certain age, you have to be at a certain place. And then you get to school, you're graded, and the level of your grade depends on how you see yourself. So when we become adults, of course, the first thing we want to do is judge ourselves. But I think one of the best things that we can do to make sure that we're not judging ourselves too harshly is to not hold on to the little things,
Right.
like the small imperfections. It might be easier said than done, but you have to let those things go.
Right. Right.
Like I was talking to a friend, I sent her a picture because I wanted to post the other day about my 60 minute for 60 the $60 for 60-minute massage special.
Right.
And I like to post photos of me with the peace sign. So I sent her two photos. I sent her one of myself at Selby Gardens, and I was wearing my tennis dress. I love my tennis dresses now.
Yes.
But I'm not ashamed of my body. So I be having on a short tennis dress with my stomach just bam right there. And I just be walking around first of all, I'm comfortable. I got on my tennis shoes. I'm not hot because I got this tennis dress on. I got my water bottle with my ice water, so I'm not gonna be sweaty. I got my washcloth, so if I do get sweaty, I can pat it, and a fan so I can cool myself down.
Right. Right.
As long as I'm comfortable and I can walk strong, I can walk confidently in myself. So I sent her the picture, and she was like, "Yeah, girl." She was like, I do see what you're saying. I was like, "You see how my stomach is very prominent in this picture?" She said, "I see what you're saying," but she was like, "Overall, it's a really beautiful photo." And I think the epitome of having high self-esteem and a lot of confidence is that I knew that. I can see that.
Right.
I can see that by looking at like, wow, the background, gorgeous, hair
Right.
looks good, makeup look good. Yeah, my stomach is sitting there, but it's there. You know how sometimes people show you a picture of yourself and you're like, I hate it.
Right.
But
Right.
I started getting into the habit of like when people show me a picture of me, I'm like, it's me.
Right.
I love me, so it is what it is. And I stopped judging myself for the little things.
Yeah, and that's very important because I remember I was listening to, I can't remember who it was, but she said you have to love yourself at each stage. So it's kind of like whether you think you're overweight, you think you skinny, you think whatever, you have to learn yourself in every stage because you're yourself. And if you can
Right.
learn to do that, you will have like that confidence. But from your I guess your interactions and just seeing what goes on in everyday life, especially on social media, we just see so many women. I ain't gonna hold you. They into the BBW, BBLs. They into just getting, the injections, lips, fillers, lashes, this, that, and the other.
Right.
And like, how do you think those things affect like a woman's self-esteem, their self-image, like all those things?
I think that the women who get those things, if it truly calms their spirit,
Right.
and if it truly brings them peace, I think it's bad. I think, oh, you a bad woman for being able to know what you want, having enough guts to go out there and get it, and enough hustle to afford it,
Right. Right.
or in some way you were able to obtain it. I think that's absolutely fantastic. It's out of sight.
Yeah. Because I do know, I was speaking to a gentleman the other day, and I love the word that he used about it. He was like, "I don't mind enhancements and this, that, and the other,"
Right.
because for some it is an enhancement. Um, I know because I have girls, I have three girls. Sometimes it's very challenging for me to not so much accept it, but to like have a conversation about it because they're getting to the age where like they want to change what I find is absolutely beautiful about them. I'm just like, don't touch your eyebrows,
Right.
don't do anything to your face. And they just see all these other images of these women just like constantly like reconstructing themselves. And I try to give them a healthy balance, just as far as like, hey, like love yourself. Now, if it's just something that you absolutely feel needs enhancement, um, I'm going to support you because you're mine.
Right.
But I would prefer if you just didn't touch
Which is
anything.
understandable because you can see the beauty in your daughters.
Right,
Sometimes it's harder to see the beauty in yourself, you know?
right, right, right. Even with just the physical part of it, like, how do you think, I guess, self esteem and body image, like, how do you think that weighs in on women's mental health?
Well, just expounding on the enhancements.
Mm-hmm.
It's wonderful if you want it and you can get it. It is dangerous. And there are, certain side effects that you're going to be dealing with when you're having those things done. There's certain upkeep that you need to know. So there's many different factors to getting it. But I also think that if you watch too much of other people and you allow yourself to be programmed by those things that you see, then just like when you get older, like I think between 14 and 16, it's a little bit harder because they're still children. But when they get up to being 18 and 19, you have to add on to, loving yourself and having confidence. You have to add on, reprogram yourself.
Right, right. Almost kind of like just reinventing yourself time and time and time again.
Reinventing yourself, I think, is a little bit different,
All right.
but along the same lines.
Okay.
I think reprogramming yourself goes along with knowing what you're ingesting, not just physically, but the things that you see. You are ingesting those things and the things that you listen to, all of the things that you watch, the places you go, you're ingesting all of that stuff. So, in order to reprogram yourself, you're going to have to change the things that you watch, eat, see, the things that you apply to your body, because those are all things that you're ingesting, and that's the only way you'll be able to reprogram yourself. So instead of thinking, looking on the outside of myself, and I'm scrolling and I'm swiping and I see these body images and it's making me feel like, oh, I wish I had that, and oh, that's so cute, and why my body isn't like that. You have to unprogram that.
Right.
You have to watch videos that say, girl, remember you're beautiful the way that you are, and girl, you have to love yourself and make sure to put out positive vibes into the universe, and, like affirmations and any type of
Right.
reprogramming you can find. The music you listen to, change it. Make sure you're listening to something that's gonna make you feel empowered and not um self-conscious, not
Right.
too self-conscious in that physical way.
Because that's the one thing that I do worry about, and not just like the younger girls. I mean, even myself. Like I look at the gym girlies and the yoga girlies, and they have a run for money.
No, they look
like,
so good.
they look good,
Right.
and I'm just like, oh my gosh. Should I go on a calorie deficit? Can I do this? Da, da, da. And sometimes I just have to reprogram my thoughts myself because I'm just like, Ashley. And I know it's some gym girlies out there who have 5 kids and work and do all those things. But
more power to y'all.
right, for me, it's super difficult. Like it's super difficult. And I just have to remind myself, like, okay, what I was given and what I was blessed with, let me work with what would I have and do what I can with it.
What they say, shake what your mama gave you.
Right.
You can't shake what nobody else was giving.
Right. Right. But it's just one of those things that, like I said, us as women, we're our biggest critic, and you just kind of, if you don't remind yourself to kind of rethink or reprogram, as you would say, like it can cause you to have like some mental, like, I won't say mental issues, but it can weigh on you mentally.
Absolutely.
Because I think women just are always striving to be better, honestly. Like in every way, it's whether it's a mother, a businesswoman, just anything. And I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves.
And people put pressure on us. But you cannot succumb to those, those little suggestions in life. And nobody teaches us to do what you said that you do. You tell yourself, okay, Ashley, remember that you still look good too. You're still beautiful too.
Yeah.
Even though you look at her and she look good, you look good too, man.
Yeah.
It's all about perception, and nobody teaches us how to reprogram ourselves like that.
Right.
So I'm so happy that they have you, somebody to help guide them, because everybody doesn't.
Yeah. Going back to that, women, everybody really, I think should find their own thing to kind of remind them of like why, honestly, like why you're wonderful, like why you are as great as you are. And it doesn't matter like your shape, your size, because a lot of times I don't think people understand like how attractive like a good personality is. You know what I mean? Or how attractive good
Absolutely.
energy is. And if you keep those things up, believe it or not, that just attracts so many things that you just could never imagine. Like I tell people all the time, a lot of a lot of people or things that have attracted themselves to me or that I've been attracted to had nothing to do with how I look. They just like, oh, you're upbeat, you're this, you're da 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 da, and that's a part of like my self esteem as well. Because when I hear that, that feeds my ego. Like
For sure.
like I'm a good person or a positive person.
And
that
you need
feeds my
your ego.
Yeah,
you need it.
Yeah.
We can't live without that. And people, especially in the South, they be like, don't put yourself above others. I was definitely taught that.
Right.
You never think that you're better than somebody else, and you never. But I think we need to reprogram that too, because sometimes we need to feed our ego. We need to say you're the best at what you do. It's okay to think that. Because if not, if you don't have that little voice inside of you, somebody else will be able to come along and say you suck, actually.
Right.
And you won't have anything inside yourself to be like, nah, I thought my eyebrows was cute. Right. I thought I did a really, really good job.
Right, right.
So you have to tell yourself, no, these eyebrows look good.
Yes.
Your eyebrows could be, second cousins instead of twins or sisters. But you have to believe in yourself.
Yeah. And just learn how to rock it and own it, and just going back to just loving it for everything that it is and everything that you are. And that's super, 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 super important. In these days, I just feel like a lot of women just get lost in who they really are. And they're so consumed by all the other roles that they have to take on as women. And with that, I think, and correct me right or wrong in a difference, that they lose their self esteem like during those processes. I mean, being a mom, you lose yourself because you're so tired, you're so drained, you don't feel as pretty as you once were, you don't feel as energetic. Your husband, your man looking at you crazy because you're doing everything for the baby, your breast out all the time, and then you show up and then you have to be someone else. And then when you're that person, whether that's a friend, you just kind of always put yourself last in line. And then at the end of the day, you kind of don't have enough for you. And that's the one thing that I do think women need to kind of take more time out to give themselves that time to kind of pour back into themselves to rebuild, because we give so much of it out to everyone else.
So freely.
So freely. And we don't take enough time to, like you said, clap for ourselves unapologetically. It's like we almost feel bad.
People get pissed immediately. You let somebody be like, oh, Jackie, you look good. I like your hair. Don't it look good? Isn't it cute? Isn't it curly? People be like, bitch, oh, excuse me. It's like, I'm trying to compliment you. You're supposed to say thank you. And it's not that a person needs to be conceited. They just need to be convinced that they are what they think they are.
Right, right. But I don't know, because sometimes it's hard to do.
No, it's all about practice.
Yeah.
And that's why if you all the way at the bottom, like if you feel like you're in that space, especially as women and as Black women, because like when you give birth, you're in a position where you can become physically clouded. Your body is full of hormones, and you're feeling things that you might have never felt before. Because that was my first time.
Right.
And so I found myself in a place that I had never been, but I kept the faith that I'm really still that girl, and I know she in there
somewhere
because I just was her like not that long ago, and I'm still me. So I know she in there. So even when I was looking at men, even when I wasn't doing the things that I love that made my husband attracted to me. Like I remember when me and you were in the spa, and there was a thing. Oh, okay, when we did the ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
And so like each one of us said something, And one of the things that he said initially attracted him to me was that people listen when I speak. Even when I lost my ability to put myself in situations where I could shine, I still knew she was inside,
Right.
and she was coming back.
Right.
So I appreciate the patience that was given to me for, the waiting for her to get back, but I knew she was in there.
Right.
You gotta know.
Right.
So if you all the way at the bottom, you have to start with the very, very least thing. You have to be like, okay, I got up and I took off that moo and I put on a house dress.
Right.
And I got the baby up. I didn't put on his best outfit, but I put him on a solid outfit. I got him to school. I came back. Even though I wasn't able to wash the dishes and make up the bed, at least I'm getting some rest, and that's something that I'm doing for myself.
Right.
I'm good at getting rest. Even if you're sleeping all day long, I'm good at resting up and charging.
I gotta
and then
use
you gotta
that.
go to the next round. You gotta go up one more. You gotta be like, you know what? Today, even though I wasn't able to I made up the bed today. And even though I wasn't able to, get up and bathe up and get cute, I'm good at maintaining and not crying.
Right. Right.
And I'm standing strong and I'm doing what's best for me. Find something.
Yes.
I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So you start at the bottom, find something, then you go up another rung, find something even better and better and better about yourself till you can just shine. And so when you walk into the room and your eyebrows are distant cousins, you have to be ready for that, right?
Right.
So you're gonna walk in and you have to be ready for somebody to be like, well, Jay, what's going on with your eyebrows? Be like, yeah, they look a little crazy, don't you? You like that? Or
Right.
you don't like that? You have to just know who you are.
Yes. Yes. And with knowing who you are, I believe that's a skill in itself.
Oh yeah.
I just believe that that's a skill in itself, because even today, at 40 something years old today, I find myself still looking for myself. And I find myself like, oh my gosh, I remember that person and this, that, and the other. And I do have to kind of go back and dig her out and just like, okay, she gonna put on some clothes today, she gonna go hang out today, and she gonna, find that remnants of once was. And it's nothing wrong with growing from her and just having her develop into who I'm becoming. But sometimes this person that I'm becoming is tired all the time.
Right, so you're trying to look for who you were.
And I'm just trying to look for like a piece of it, just to get me back on the right path of just rebuilding that strength and that confidence and that self-esteem. Because as you get older, you can lose that, and it has nothing to do with anyone else. It's just like once upon a time, I could walk in the room, and when you walk in the room and you're 23 and everybody's 23, you the baddest thing at 23. Right. But when you walk in the room at 40, around 30 and 23, you realize you're not 30 and 23. Right. There's differences that you can see, and it's just like, as beautiful as a woman can be, those are still thoughts that we have. You just realize, like, I'm not gonna say you don't realize it. You can still be the baddest woman in the room, but you realize you're not the baddest 23, 32-year-old in the room. And sometimes that can do something to you. It can be a real humbling experience.
And that's those voices that are telling you that you're not as cute, and you're not as slim, and you're not as petite, and therefore you're not as good. Mm. And what we practice it. You don't have to practice like I'm still bad.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm really bad though. Like I walk through the room, like I'm so happy to see y'all. Y'all so cute. It makes me feel happy that you are slim. You got a fatty. You are natural. You got your BBL. That makes me happy. I'm happy for you. Actually, let's party because I feel good about my own self. All of us are good. Everything is cool. Rather than caving into the voices that say you not good. You see that girl over there with that pixie cut? That pixie cut is slave child. You're bragging. It's so you think you thought you was something like reprogram those thoughts.
Right.
And it's easier said than done, but you have to practice it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I definitely have doubts too. People all the time be like, "Oh, Jericho, you're so confident," and I love this aura that you have, but it took a lot of practice, and it came from a girl who was like a late bloomer, or what they call the ugly duckling. That's how I kind of felt. My grandmother gave me confidence through my education because from a young age she would teach us comprehension. She taught us very well how to read. That gave me such a confidence at such a young age, and I carried that confidence with me through my life. But not being who I am today led me to where I am.
Right. Right. And I'm glad you mentioned that, like with like the education and stuff, because we can focus on the physical part, but there's so many other elements that make us confident, that builds our self-esteem. And so if you're just like in a deep dark, I don't even want to say deep dark space, but like if your whole life you just felt like I'm the ugly duckling, I'm the just I don't fit in, I'm not the it girl. Like, what are things that you feel can like be done to help change that and develop that? Almost kind of like an ABC, not to get yourself in a routine to kind of just like to reprogram yourself, like you were saying earlier.
What can we do to bring ourselves up when we feel low?
Yeah, because it's different when it's like your whole life, like you just
Right.
felt like
Like you weren't that girl
you
your
just
whole
wasn't
life.
that girl, but you because some people are shy as well, and that plays a part of it. But it's kind of just like it's stopping you from, it's stunning you, like it's no growth.
For sure.
So like, what do you think are tips that those girls can use or put into their everyday to kind of move them out of that space?
I mean, you really won't even know if you low enough. If you're depressed enough and you are self-conscious enough, you won't even be knowing to start listening to the affirmations video, none of that. So I think the very first thing you can do is ask yourself what you feel and why. You just start there. Like, what is it that you're feeling? And then you might answer yourself and say, well, I feel low and I feel ugly and unattractive. And then ask yourself why. And if you can answer those questions of why, then you can continue to unravel where you're going. So you might end up just saying, I'm just kind of funky because, the baby is young. I haven't bathed in a day and a half.
Right.
So I need to shower.
Right.
My hair look a little bit of a mess, but it's okay. I can still wash. I can put some bantu knots in it and it'll look decent.
Right. Right.
Now with these two things together, if I could just touch up my makeup and do my nails, paint them myself and my toes, I smell good, I look decent, I feel better, now I feel better about myself. But if you can't even identify what's wrong,
right,
and you're not even trying to,
right,
you'll never grow.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, that is true, and I hope that no one is in that place. I just know like certain people can be in that place. I can tell you right now, when I was a young kid, there were two things that killed my self-esteem: my big lips. People used to always talk about my big lips.
Really?
Yes.
And there goes wow.
When I got older, they became like, oh, okay, you have gorgeous lips. But when I was younger, I got picked on. They used to say you smoke, of course, SDLs and all that other
right.
stuff. They used to, and I was ashamed of my lips. And
those are some mid put downs.
Yeah,
I mean, not even that great. I'm just saying.
But I'm just saying, like, though, like growing up, though that was the thing. Another thing that I was like super, super self conscious about was my weight. And the craziest thing, and this will be another conversation as well. So I went to predominantly white schools. So when I was coming up, I was proper, more proper, I should say. I was proper. And I got rejected by the black people.
Really? At what age?
Like, from, I would say, how about all elementary, and then when I went to middle school, where I was around more like black children, I was like the Oreo. They would say that, and that killed my self esteem. And I used to kind of have to fight between, oh, you're not black enough to be black, or it just didn't appear that way. And trust me, I grew up in the hood, so I was like, what are you talking about?
No, I understand. I completely understand.
And then, of course, I had like my white friends and stuff, but it was like I wasn't as white to be, totally accepted in that world too. And it took me years to just be comfortable with just being who I am and just accepting, like, okay, I'm gonna just have to be this Oreo, like with big lips. And
I don't know, Ashley. Oreo thing, problematic. I can't get down with the Oreo thing, but I understand why people say that, and I know what you're saying.
Right? I'm just saying. But seriously, like, no tea, no shade, no tea. I went to Lincoln and Palmetto.
Right. Very black school.
It was rough. And I came from King, from 75th, and I'm over there taking home economics. And actually, I don't know, just forming a proper sentence. And then I go to different
and they
school.
spoke differently.
Right. And I got mocked for it. It was just like, oh, why are you talking like that?
And that's
oh,
understandable. You know, being black
me.
is something that's very sought after.
Right.
By all different types of people. So when you get around your own, when you are black and you get around your own black people and you don't feel accepted, it's something that's deeply hurtful because it's something that you want to be a part of because you can feel the spirit, you can feel the soul of blackness.
Yes.
And so you want to be accepted.
Of course. But I'm just telling you, your girl was down bad.
And that was one of your big things that you felt insecure about.
That was one of my big things. Even as I got older, just the stigma when I tell people, and I'm super proud, like when I tell people, like, oh, I have 5 kids. And then that would be followed by, oh, how many baby daddies? And it was like, what? What are you talking about?
Come on.
Like, what are you talking about right now? And it's nothing wrong with it, but it was just like one of those stigmas. And then it was like, oh, okay. But at the same time, I had to readjust and be confident like in who I was to be able to walk into any room, to be able to laugh off certain things or to make fun of certain things, because once you realize like certain things aren't true, you just kind of let them have it. Right. You get what I mean? And it's just like, oh, okay, you know, or whatever. But before, like, I couldn't handle it. It was just like, I just was like stuck in the middle and I didn't fit in.
Right. And there's that double consciousness too. And you know, when you have that double consciousness as a black person, it's always like, I know that this is the reality, but what are these people thinking of me and how do they see me?
Right.
And it's going to be that way throughout your entire life. You know, all of us experience that.
Yeah.
And when kids bully and when they pick on you, what they're doing is they're trying to pick at your insecurity because they know they have one.
Right.
And, you know, and they're trying to do something to help subside their feelings about themselves by putting shining a bright light on something they think might make you feel insecure. I remember I was in middle school. Somebody called me a wide load. I said, oh my God. I was a wide load, but girl, at that time, I literally probably was 112 pounds or something.
Right. Isn't it crazy when you look back?
Right. You know, I always will.
Right. And it's just crazy the things that kind of like stick with you. And even if you guys watched the last episode when we had 2 gentlemen on and they had this little, a 10, this, that, and the other. And I was telling them that whole measurement or just rating women, the reason why that can be so hurtful, because if you knew how hard it was, if I had to pick a number, do you know how hard I had to work to get to that number? So for you to give me a number is wow.
But you know that men, remember we talked about egos, men have even huger egos. So it's okay with me if you come to me and be like, Jay, you actually a 5.
Right.
Maybe your personality could take you up to a 7. It wouldn't hurt me that bad because I know good and well if I hit you with a 4.5,
right,
your feelings would be crushed.
Right.
And I would have to tell you, babe, it's really not because it's your body, it's just your breath is a little bad, and the way that you walk has no confidence, and you don't stand up tall, so it takes up a few inches off your height. Right. And I just don't like the way that you talk to people. It just doesn't come off very smooth. You have no riz, so that took you down a notch. That's what made you the 4.5. It wasn't even your looks. You look decent.
And that's the thing. And that's what I was saying. I was just like, we get into this thing where we become so consumed by what other people think. But if we had to take off that filter, not to put in, but to humble people, like they will stop that. Because the things that make a person beautiful, regardless of, like, because it's all subjective. It's all subjective. So whatever it is you think of this and the other. But that's what makes you great. That's literally what makes you perfect. And it's just like, all I can say, you hit it on the head, because I sit there and I would never give someone a number, but I so badly would love to say some of the things that you just said, because I'm right here like, bro, you just knocked yourself to 2.5.
Right, just from what you just said.
Like from what you just said.
Totally.
Like you would not, I don't care what money you have, I don't care what this you have, this, that, and the other. Like, because of how you're conducting yourself and now you're playing on my self-esteem, like that knocked you down. Like
it did. Crazy. You really can't put me down simply because I love myself.
Correct.
Highly.
Correct. No, I'm the same. I am the same way. Like at the end of the day, that's always my reminder to myself. I'm like, girl, Like you could be this, that, and the third, and you're not. Like you're
Yes,
amazing.
you have overcome so
Like
many different things.
you and
And
you
like those
have
people,
to.
like, how many baby daddies you got? That's just because you black, babe.
Right.
I hate to be
No, but
one of
that's
them people,
no,
but
but
I'm
that's
wokety woke, woke, woke.
no, but
Like,
that's what I'm saying. Is just like that's a part of like your self esteem though. It's like because I'm this, I
that's just
automatically
double consciousness.
has this.
Do you know what that is? It comes from W.E.B. Du Bois. We all have that. That's just a
Right.
double consciousness. You looking at yourself through somebody else's filter. Like when I see you, somebody else might be thinking, "Oh, 5 kids. How many baby daddies she got?" Me, I'm like, "Oh, wow, she's a beautiful suburban mom,
Right.
and she drives this big truck so she can drive around all her kids. They're all in sports. They all have extracurricular activities.
Right.
They're
Right.
well rounded. They're well spoken. Every single problem that each one of them has, you take care of it. You at work doing hair, like, okay, oh, so you want Chick-fil-A? Oh, all right. She wanted McDonald's. I guess I'll run by there and stop at Chili's on the way so everybody can have what they want and what they need. I see that as a positive thing.
Right. Right.
You can't look at yourself through somebody else's lens because that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And before, and what I'm saying, like before, like growing up, I'm saying I didn't know that. You get what I'm
Of
saying? So
course.
I always questioned that, and I just, like I said, I just felt like, oh, I'm kind of misfit, and I just felt like though I could be one of those girls, whether it's qualified, this, that, and the other, I will always be looked at a certain way based off of this, that, and the other. And it was just something that I had to quickly learn to get over, but it did. I overthought that for a long time.
And
I
it
was like,
hurts.
oh, it did. Because I just was like, oh my gosh, I'm all of these things, and yet I'm all of these things, and yet I'm still not, da, 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 da. You still think this, that, and the other. And it took forever to just be like, yeah, I don't care.
You have to get
Like
tired.
you have to get tired of
Yeah.
it. Like, and it's crazy because when you are your biggest fan and when your back is against the wall and you don't want to pull yourself off of that wall, you you love yourself even more.
Right.
You love yourself even
And
more.
I battle that sometimes in marriage because my husband takes our lives and he carries it on his back. And so sometimes I can find myself wanting more of a lift up and a build up for my husband. And sometimes he might not be able to give that because he
Right.
has so many things. People don't realize how much pressure that is on men. Now listen, I will never defend a man.
It's okay.
Never.
Yeah.
I would never defend a man.
All right.
But what I'm saying is I don't think people understand the weight that men carry.
Yeah.
And so sometimes in a marriage, having to remember that and just being able to just lift yourself up anyway. Like we had a conversation when I was at the gym the other day, and he mentioned to me something that we had never talked about, and it made me feel like, ugh, like I didn't know you were thinking that. Like I didn't even know that this is something we never talked about. He just mentioned it casually, and I was like, what? And I got home, girl. It got to the point where I got everything done fast. I cleaned up. I fed the baby, gave him a bath. I didn't even turn on no Elmo, no nothing. It's right away. Time to go to bed. Put on your nighttime music, put the baby to bed, just so I can go in the front room and start journaling, writing. I was writing down reasons why I think you think this way. I was writing down, okay, well, if you think this way and you think that I'm supposed to do this, then this is what I'm going to do. All of this stuff just to get it off of my mind so that I could counsel myself, and I slept on it.
Right.
And I woke up feeling like I could see things from a different perspective, a little bit more clearly, because you can't always get what you need from your partner,
right,
and from your man.
Right.
We were just saying you can't be somebody else's everything.
Right.
Sometimes he could try. He loved me down, and I love him too. But we can't be each other's everything all the time.
Right. But that goes back to me saying, like, as women, that's how we lose ourselves though, because we don't understand that we can't be everyone's everything. Because even I remember, and it wasn't too far back, not gonna go too much there, but even in my marriage and with my children, you almost feel like I have to be a certain type of wife, I have to be a certain type of mom, I have to be a certain type of, co-worker or whatever it is. And when you feel like you have to be, because part of it is an obligation, but it's like you you just lose yourself because the bar is always going up.
What they say, they keep what people say, they keep changing the field goal post, or something like that.
The target keeps moving.
Right.
And but as women, we keep moving with the target, and that's the problem. It's like, bro.
And that's what this episode is for. It's about self-esteem And you have to get to a place where you know that that's what you're struggling with and do things to change it.
Right, right. And that's where, even back to the first episode that we had about positive mindset, it's really about creating your own narrative. Like, I just truly believe that. Like, once you just start feeding yourself, and when I say feeding yourself, I mean all that good stuff that you know makes yourself great, and then you can create that environment for you, your family, your husband, and then you set that tone. It's so much easier. Like, it's just so much easier for you to receive whatever it is to receive,
Definitely.
because you know what world you're stepping into. It's your world. Like, when
You created
you
it.
created it. Like, when
Yes.
you learn that, it's amazing. Like, I don't know. I think that's like the most amazing feeling. And I'm not saying like I have that confidence all the time. I have been aware that I can bring a certain energy and a certain tempo, because when I step in the room, I want to have a like I
You
want
got
good
that
energy,
aura.
right? And I want
Very
that,
much.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to give it, but that is something that through years that did have to be developed. Oh my goodness. Well, I just want to say this has been another amazing conversation. And Jerica, are there any last words that you would like to give the listening audience?
This has been an amazing conversation. We need to know what's going on these days, right?
Yeah.
The question is, what does healthy self esteem look like for women in today's world? And I think the answer is effort. An effort to improve yourself inside and out. So you start out that effort by asking yourself what's wrong and why. And these are the things that you could do to help improve your self esteem. You need to develop and raise your standards. You need to do some form of exercise. You cannot place your self esteem or esteem in the hands of others, it's in your own hands. Every relationship that you have should build your self esteem. You shouldn't be unsure, you should be sure in your relationships. Stop asking for advice, external advice, and just use the advice that you've been given. If you've watched one or two videos on how to raise your self esteem, how to be a better woman, whatever it is, use what you've already learned instead of continuously asking for advice. And that's it. Thank you.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of These Days, and I hope that you guys will return. All right. See you later. Bye.